Welcome, everybody. So excited that you guys are here. And today we are talking about something that is so important that I'd have to say I have not become an expert at yet. There is still hope for me. Today we're talking all about the boundaries that we need to be setting inside of our tutoring business. And we're going to talk about we're going to take a look at people who do some in-person tutoring, online tutoring. You guys are going to get to meet people that are tutoring different subjects and what does setting boundaries look like for them? And we'll take a look at a couple of different areas of our tutoring to find out where do we have to be thinking about those boundaries so that you guys have the business that you absolutely love and want to do. So this is really, really cool topic for us to talk about. And I'm so glad that each of you guys are here today. So you're going to get to meet some new tutors inside of our community. Each of these tutors is inside of the Ultimate Support Group for Online Tutors. If you are not a member of the Ultimate Support Group for Online Tutors, you can join us by going onto Facebook and typing into that search bar, Ultimate Support Group for Online Tutors, and you will find us there. If you answer all of the questions that are there, you'll be admitted immediately into the group. But if you do not answer the questions, then you'll have to go through the process and wait until one of the administrators takes a look at the answers to be able to let you on in. So without further ado, let's start you guys learning about each of the tutors we have here today. We've got Andrea Schultz. Andrea, tell us where you're from, what you tutor, and what you tutor. Okay, fantastic. Mhm. I just realized we have no sound here, so give me 1 minute here. I don't know where the sound went, so I'm gonna go to audio. We're gonna just fix the sound real quick. Thank you guys for being so patient as we fix the sound on here. And see if we can do this. All right, one of you guys try saying something. See if it comes on in.
Hello?
Yes, we've got it fixed. Yay! Thank you. Sorry about that, you guys. So we were learning all about Andrea, and you missed everything that she said. But we will go on back, and she'll be able to introduce who she is. So Andrea, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor.
Okay, my name is Andrea Schultz. I live in Springfield, Missouri area. We on an 80-acre farm. I tutor in-home and online. My youngest is 17 months or had been 17 months, and that was more behavioral and teaching verbalization to 18 years, where I teach reading and math. Um,
Awesome.
Most of my
Yay.
students are on the autism spectrum or dyslexic.
Well, fantastic. Thank you. And we've got Kimberly Madison with us today. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor.
Hi, my name is Kimberly Madison. I am from Jackson, Mississippi, and it is hot here. I tutor chemistry. I tutor high school and college level students. Um, what else? I am a PhD chemistry student, and I'll graduate in December of this year. So I'm excited about that. I tutor online, but I do a little in person for my students that are here on campus as well. And I'm excited to be here.
Yay, we're excited to have you here. And we've got Amy Whitney. And tell us a little bit about who you are, Amy.
All right. Hi, everybody. Of course, my name's Amy Whitney, and I'm originally from Kelowna, British Columbia in Canada. I'm living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico right now, and I teach Spanish. I help people, expats that are living abroad here in Mexico, to get their Spanish bearings and to do what they need to do in everyday life here. I get a lot of requests for people that want to learn in person with me, but I am doing my tutoring exclusively online.
I love it. And that is one of the boundaries, isn't it? I think
It
this
sure is.
that's one of the boundaries that we'll be talking about today. We also have Trisha Underwood here. Welcome, Trisha. Tell everybody a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you tutor.
Hi, I'm Trisha Underwood. I am from Atlanta, Georgia, where it is also very hot. Kimberly, I heard you say that. I tutor teenagers, high school and college, who are struggling with overwhelm and academic stress in school, and sometimes underwhelm as well in school, to learn the executive functioning strategies and habits to do better and feel better.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. And we have, is it Shital who is joining us today?
That's correct.
Welcome. Tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're from. And actually, is it possible for you to remove the mask a little bit, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to
Hard
hear
to hear
you.
me.
Yeah.
I hope they don't mind. I'm in a school right now, which is why I have it on.
Yeah.
But there's nobody around me. Okay,
Oh,
so
fantastic.
hi everyone.
Awesome. So tell us about who you are and where you're from and what you tutor.
Okay, so I'm from Houston, Texas. I tutor all subjects up to high school and early college. We specialize in math, science, and English, but we can do all the other ones as well. So a lot of it's about memorization, study skills, and just general topics such as that. So we do all of it basically.
And when you say we, are you working for a company or do you have your own business?
So I have my own business and we have tutors working with us.
Got it. Excellent. Fantastic. It's always great to see like the different types of businesses that people have as well, and everything that they have. And I was inspired today to do this particular topic because we had a question inside of the Ultimate Support Group. And the question was, someone's asking for a 30-minute lesson. I only do 50 minutes, and this would be in the middle of my day on a Friday when I don't have any other sessions. Probably takes as much time before as a 50-minute session and be half the money. Should I try and convince them to do 15 minutes, tell them that we have breaks for a couple of minutes, and then to keep the student engaged? And I think here, like, this all comes down to setting boundaries for your business. And when we can get clear on what we want our business to look like, then we can at least have some kind of an idea of how to respond to people when they ask us for those kinds of things. I have had people ask me for 45-minute sessions before, and what it does is it messes up my calendar for like, if I do a 45-minute session, I am somehow like I'm missing out on 15 minutes that I could be working with something, because it's really hard to start a session at like 5:45 and then go to, it makes it weird because my session works best with like hour sessions and half-hour sessions. And so those two blocks work really well together, but if I add 45 minutes, it doesn't work. So I say no to people who want a 45-minute block and tell them that I just have those two options if they're wondering. But how about you guys when it comes to setting times on your sessions? Has that been something that you've had to do? Like, is there certain time blocks that work better for you than other time blocks?
One of my things that I do with my students, first off, I only work Monday through Wednesday. My husband has retired. I'm of retirement age, and I'm to the point whereas if they don't want to do Monday through Wednesday, then it's not best for me. They need to go somewhere else. My time blocks are anywhere from 30 minutes to, well, in person once I had a student who was with me for 3 hours. Tutoring. We were working on cooking skills and cleaning skills and various other things, and you can't cook in an hour.
Right. No,
It
no, no,
doesn't
that
work.
doesn't fit.
It does not fit. So I would block him off. It would be like from 9 to 12. And then I'd
Sure.
do the other students afterwards. And now when he went online, it was a 30-minute session, because being online, you can't really teach cooking. You
Mm-mm.
can't teach sweeping or whatever. So we did 30-minute sessions, and I've actually taken the summer off. I'm helping my daughter with her new baby. So I'm not tutoring anybody right now until
Gotcha.
end of August.
Gotcha. Yeah, and sometimes that is one of the boundaries we have to set is what days do we want to work and do we want to work in the summer? There are some, and sometimes some subjects kind of lend themselves to it. Sometimes I find like working with some of the high school kids, if you're working with high school kids, sometimes taking the summer off works well. Or you can come up with some ways to engage them over the summer, or you can give them the summer off, depending on really what do you want your business to look like at the end of the day. Does anybody, I work Monday through, this is one of those things, you guys. I say Monday through Thursday, and then I have some students that I have on Friday, and then they start kind of creeping up on that morning time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, how does this happen? It's because of boundaries, right? And like being like, oh well, if I'm already working with a student at 7:30, I can easily take a student at 8 o'clock, and then I can easily take that student at 9 o'clock, right? Oh, why not do 10 o'clock? I'd be done by 11, and then by 11. I can have the rest of the day. That's how it ends up working for me. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I do not work Saturdays and Sundays. That is like no, absolutely no way, not going to creep into Saturday and Sunday. I refuse to take anybody on Saturdays and Sundays. So if they are looking for a weekend tutor, I'm not their tutor for them, and I can obviously refer them to somebody else. Anybody else on time like that, where days that you only work? Trisha, you're shaking your head. Yeah, what days do you work?
I do Monday through Thursday, and I will say, like, this took a little trial and error in my first semester. And I forgot to say this, I work primarily online. So I do sessions over Zoom. I do have a couple students who are local in the area who come to my home, but not like for every session. They'll do like a once a month kind of, let's meet in person and help them with organization and that kind of thing. So anyway, so I do Monday through Thursday, and it was interesting about the time blocks. I first said that, that my sessions were 50 minutes long, and I found that like I needed to give myself permission to allow a session to be anywhere between 45 minutes and 60 minutes. So it's weird. I kind of ended up having to develop like it was a boundary, but it was about like, letting the parents know sometimes a session's going to be 45 minutes and that's all we need. And sometimes a session's going to be up to 60 minutes because that's what we need. And so I needed to allow myself that like 15-minute buffer on either end, if that makes sense.
It does. And then you didn't want to just end the session, right? And
or try to feel bad if it didn't, if we got what we needed to get done in 45 minutes, and then feel bad that try to run out the clock in some way. I just wanted it to be authentic. So, and I have, I have never heard any parent have any issue with that. Like, I want it to be 60 minutes. As long as we're getting the job done, it seems like they don't really care. And then I also do I have a time slot on Saturdays between 10 and 12. I just do one session between 10 and 12 if it's, and I also do, this is probably in the boundary, I wanted to mention something about summer tutoring. One thing I do that has been just such a relief for me is I collect deposits at the end of the school year for next semester. So so students will sign up for me like on a package to work for the semester. And so I collect a 10% deposit, which allows me to have a little bit more like breathing room in the summer to feel like I don't have to take on a lot of summer work because I've got a little bit of money, a little bit of income already from that. So that has been really, that's been useful. I don't know if I guess that's a boundary. It's a boundary because I don't want to have to work as many hours in the summer as I do during the school year. So
Yeah, that's definitely a boundary, and it's also about like communicating those boundaries to people. Like, hey, if you want to save your spot for the fall as well, like I understand you want to take the summer off. I want to work less during the summer as well, but I also need to know who's going to come back at the fall.
right.
That 10% down payment will let me know, yes, you want to come back into the fall, hold that spot for you, instead of taking on other new students that I haven't worked with before and I don't know as well. I know your child really well, right? So it's a relationship thing as well, which I think is fantastic, and that works really well with some people. There's so many different ways to collect. We could do an entire call on how do you collect payments and what are some of the things that you do. But I think but payments are part of that boundary piece as well. And so like what you charge is one of those boundaries, right? I feel like if somebody's going to try to talk me down on my price, then they haven't gotten to know me or my worth yet. Right. And they're not going to be a good fit for me. If they say, hey, this is what my budget is, then I'll say, let me find you a tutor who fits within that budget. Like I'm not even going to try to play that game with you. I don't have the time for it. How about you guys when it comes to money and what you charge? Are you kind of on the say you tell people like what you charge and that's kind of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yes.
find that I actually do receive a lot of inquiries from people that, especially living here in Mexico. I mean, we think about moving here for lifestyle and oh, I'm on the beach and life is great. But a lot of people are actually moving here because of their limited budgets. So they're in their retirement years. They're realizing that they need to learn the language, but they're looking for kind of that lower budget option. And the fact is, with my course, my number one focus is helping people to develop the speaking skills that they need to be able to function out in the real world. And I can't do that with an online course that's self-directed. You need to actually be in a class. I need to have the one-to-one time with you. So there is a bottom to what I can charge, and also that it's really not just the hours that I'm teaching. I have a lot of admin that I need to cover as well. So it's not just what my hourly rate is, it's what do I need to earn in order to support the costs of my business and overhead.
Right.
And, just realizing that like you have to have your rates and hold to them. And like you said, Joanne, it's sometimes they just don't recognize the value of your work yet and how you're different from other people. And sometimes I have to try a few other ones and then they come back,
Yeah. Exactly. And and I think that's it, and it's okay. Like I think when you hold on to your worth, you have to realize that the next client is around the corner. When you're first getting started, it feels like that next client will never come. But the next client is around the corner. As long as you are continuing to take action to try to get new students, that next student is right around the corner. And that next student may be the one that says yes. And not everybody should be saying yes to your services. If everybody is saying yes to your services, then you're not charging enough. And so that's something to
I
keep
agree.
in mind.
I have where I do charge hourly, but I also have package deals. And on my system for the package deals, it shows the amount that they're saving. Versus like doing this package deal for, let's say, maybe 10 lessons, I'll charge this amount. And then like, just depending on if I need them like the whole semester, or if they like for high school students, I might need them for the whole year. So I offer like a 2-month package, which will be like the 10 lessons. So they can use it, as long as they use it up within those 2 months, then it's like, okay, that's fine. If you use it up within that whole week, that's fine as well. And then I also have another package where I offer like maybe 24-hour lessons. And then I have another package where I offer like 48-hour lessons, which that would cover pretty much that whole year. And so it just depends. When I offer those package deals, they do have to pay that up front. And that's to make sure they are actually getting that deal of paying that less amount per hour than they would pay versus at having it at $65 an hour. And so I do set those boundaries and I offer those opportunities. Is no pressure, because I do have one student. I have a couple of students who actually do get the package, but then I have a couple of, they still spend more than what they would have spent if they got the package, but maybe they didn't have that money at that time, and that's perfectly fine. And so I do understand that. I just still have to offer those concepts to those students and parents as well. And so I keep my prices firm. Definitely, you can get a package deal and get the discount, or you can just pay the $65 an hour.
Now I'm gonna offer, for those of you guys that are thinking about doing package deals and those kinds of things, and you are going to be decreasing the rate as they purchase more, I'm gonna have a little thought challenge for you here. When you do that, I want you guys to think about, how much do I want to make per hour? Add $10 more as your actual rate for the least amount of classes, so that when you're decreasing, you're not decreasing from the amount of money you want to make per hour. Does that make sense? Because a lot of times people are decreasing their rate for more sessions, and then they're not getting paid as much money, which is fine. But then, let's start at a top number, instead of, this is the absolute number I need to kind of run my business, and then I'm going to decrease from there. And then all of a sudden you're working with these kids and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not actually making the amount of money that I want to make or I could make. So adding a little bit more money on top of that at the beginning for those the least amount of sessions, and then you can decrease it, give them that deal as they add on. I was so shocked. I made the biggest mistake, you guys, when I changed my prices. And this is when I discovered this. All of a sudden, like most of my clients, they do like an hour a week, which is fine. I'll either do like a 1 hour session or 2 30-minute sessions. And, I can, in 3 months to 6 months, I can close the gap for a child with their reading. And so I don't really focus on like, oh, we have to get in all of these sessions every single week and do all of this, because I can get results so quickly over time that I don't need to do that. And so on accident, I put down that if I did 2 hours a week, then it would be this price. And it was a higher rate. And I had never heard anybody say yes to the 2 hours, because I had made a mistake in my pricing. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's why everybody's asking for the 2 hours a week. Got it. Okay. So I moved my prices up to $100 an hour, but I had kept my 2 hour number that I had. I had kept that one at the 75. So it was going to be $150 for the 2 hours. So I was making more money, but I was still making the same rate that I was making before, which was like, that's when I realized, wait a minute, they really are looking for these kinds of deals. And when they saw that, before, if I were to say, oh, so I do 2 hour sessions a week with a $75 an hour, a lot of people would have been like, that will go with the 1 hour, right? But as soon as I wrote it that way, that it was amazing. I was just like, okie dokie, this is really the way that it works for people's brains. They see that cheaper price and they're like, yeah, but you want to make sure that you're getting paid, what you're worth at the top. So if I were to change it, I would change it to $125 for 1 hour session and $100 for the 2 hour sessions, right? So that's how I would change it if I were to do the sessions in the future that way. So that would definitely it's fun, the little lessons that we can learn as we tweak. A lot of us think, oh my gosh, but if I charge that, it's going to be too much money for my clients. They won't be able to afford it. It's already a lot of money for them. They're having to figure out how to get the money for it. So don't worry about that. Right now, everybody's in hard times. They're in the same situation. Prices of everything are increasing. Don't decrease your worth just because of that. In fact, you should all be charging a little bit more, because you're having to pay a little bit more for everything as well, right? Like you're experiencing everything increasing in price and rate. So we have that boundary on what we charge. We have the boundary on what days do we work. We have the boundary on what hours will we work. We also have a boundary of who will we work with. And I know this is such another tough one for people, because they're like, I can work with everyone. I just got a message inside of my inbox of somebody who wants me to work with a 15-year-old. I have already decided I don't work with 15-year-olds. I'm going to pass them off to another tutor, right? Because that is not my ideal student. My ideal student, I'm happiest when I am working with those first, second, third graders. That's when I'm happiest. I love being able to make that quick jump right out of the gate. It makes me feel amazing. It makes